Good morning, friends. Once again, welcome in this lockdown 3.0 version. So, I would like to introduce CA Manish Gadia sir, who is a very well known faculty and regional council member of WIRC. He has conducted around 1000 plus seminars across all India. So, you can think how much time he has invested in the development of our members. So it's our great privilege to have today here with him, and the topic today is relief in GST due to COVID-19. So with this introduction, I would like to ask Virag to say a few words about our network and start the session.
So we have made a network on social media. Kindly join our network. CAs of Mumbai Facebook group, What Next Team Facebook group. We have a Telegram group also. So kindly join us. Would like to tell few words for Manish sir. Manish sir, dedication for the profession is so much. We always see the apart from the seminar also. Recently in this lockdown period, entire WRC is running from sir's office. All the webinars and everything. So much dedication for the profession and for the WRC. Sir, hats off to you for this dedication of for the profession and for the professional brother and sisters. With this brief introduction, would like to give charge session to the sir. Sir, please start the session, and next 2 hours is all yours, sir.
Thank you, Viraj. And first of all, I thank Mumbai Network for inviting me here to share my thought. And I would say that this network is doing very good job of sharing knowledge, etc. So this group is very good. You can join on WhatsApp or maybe on other Telegram or other network. So good work. And before starting of my session, I would say that still we are fighting with COVID-19, that coronavirus, which is very dangerous. So I request, even though if it is lockdown is open in red zone or maybe in orange zone, or maybe some part in green zone, red zone, but if it is not urgent or it is not very much necessary to move out of your house, so I request not to move out of your house, stay at home, stay safe. And now I'm going to discuss whether government has given any relief or it's again what I can say eyewash, that we will see once we will go through the presentation. So these are some of the notification. Actually 7 notifications has been issued by the government due to COVID under GST. Notification 30, seek to amend GST rules. I am not going into detail. I hope Abhishek and Viraj will share my presentation after the my PPT after the presentation, so you can go through it. So I am not reading exactly what notification briefly means. I am going to cover this in detail in my presentation. And apart from COVID relief, I am also going to cover the important amendment what has been come in recent past. So I will start with the GST returns. So all of you know that broadly GSTR 1 and 3B, these are the 2 returns need to be filed by the SSE, apart from, and that composition dealer also need to file their own return. So first I will start with the GSTR1. So all of you know what is GSTR1 is, that outward return of outward supply. So where you have to give your detail of sales, invoice, credit note and debit note issued by the supplier in GSTR1. And it is required to be filed monthly, and the due date is 11th of the next month. If your turnover is less than 1.5 crore, then you are allowed to file your GSTR1 on quarterly basis. And if you are opting for the quarterly option, then the due date is 30th of the end of the quarter, after 30th of the end of the quarter. So I've just given this. If you can see that February 2020, GSTR1 was due date was 11th March 2020. And all this lockdown started from 20th March 2020. So that's why if you see that there is no relief given as far as GSTR1 for the month of February 2020 is concerned. So there is no waiver of late fees, nothing. Before going further, I want to clarify one more thing, that the due date of return has not been extended by the government. This is the wrong notion that the due date has been extended. What government has very smartly done is that they said that if you are filing certain return up to certain date, then late fees will not be leviable. It does not mean that the due date has been extended. For example, if you see that notification that for the month of March 2020, the due date of the return was 11th April 2020. So now notification 33 says that if you file that return, that GSTR1 of March 2020, April 2020 or May 2020, all these 3 months up to 30th June 2020, then no fees shall be leviable. For the quarter ending January 20 to March 20, the due date was 30th April. Now law says, the notification says that if you are filing till 30th June 2020, then no late fees shall be leviable. So no extension of due date, only conditional waiver of late fees. What is the condition? So suppose March 2020 return GSTR1, instead of 30th June 2020, if you are filing on 1st July, that is a delay of 1 day. So you have to pay the late fees from 12th January 2020 till 1st July 2020, not for a single day from the original due date. If you are delaying 1 day, so you have to be very cautious, and all data should be ready before the due date, because 30th June, lot of pressure will be there on the site. As of now, the due date for filing your GSTR 9 and 9C for the financial year 18-19 is also 30th June. So whether site will work or not work, I am not sure on that. But if you missed the bus of 30th June and you are filing on maybe on midnight 12:05, then also late fees from 12th April will be applicable, not for a single day. So just keep this in mind. Now I am moving to GSTR 3B. So all of you know that now the due date for GSTR 3B is staggered way, and 3 different due dates are there. All SSCs are required to file their GSTR 3B on a monthly basis. So there is no option of filing GSTR 3B on quarterly basis. So the SSCs whose aggregate turnover for the previous financial year, again I am saying previous financial year, is more than 5 crore, then the due date is 20th of the next month. If your turnover, aggregate turnover of the previous financial year is below 5 crore in the previous financial year, again I am repeating previous financial year, and your GSTN registration is falling in this state, that is the south and west states of India, including Gujarat, MP, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, etc., the due date is 20th of the subsequent month. As far as if your turnover of the previous financial year is less than 5 crore and your GST is falling in the north or eastern part of India in the state, you can see that from Jammu and Kashmir, Rajasthan, Assam, Arunachal, Odisha, West Bengal, UP, everything. The due date is 24th of the subsequent month. So these are the due date, normal due date of GSTR 3B. Now, what they have done is, now again this 3B for giving relief, they have divided as per the turnover of the previous financial year into 3 different buckets. So I will take bucket wise what relief has been given. So first I will start February 20 to April 2020. So that is for February, March and April month. May I will tackle differently, on a different slide, because the provision for May GSTR 3B are different than the February, March and April 20. So again I will repeat, there is no extension of due date as far as GSTR 3B for these 3 months are concerned. So what they have said, that if you are filing till particular date, then no late fee shall be leviable. So I will start with first bucket, where the aggregate turnover is up to 1.5 crore in the previous financial year. So when I am saying previous financial year, it means February and March 20. You have to see that aggregate turnover of 18-19, not 19-20. And once I am going to April 2020, then in that case you have to see the aggregate turnover of financial year 19-20. So it may be possible that 19-20 turnover अभी तक आपने निकाला ही नहीं होगा, because due to lockdown you may not be going office, you may not have access to the data, so you may not be knowing that you are falling into which bucket as far as April is concerned. 18-19 का तो आपके पास already result है, आपके पास already figure है, so you can see that. And once I am saying aggregate turnover, it means it will include your taxable turnover as well as your exempt turnover both. And again, aggregate turnover need to be seen on the basis of value. So take an example for a builder. In that case, they are saying that one third is deduction toward land is allowed. So that 1/3 should not be included in your value of turnover. So maybe your turnover is 2 crore. But once you go to aggregate turnover, your turnover is 2 crore less 1/3, so it may be less than 1.5 crore, and you will fit into the first bucket. So aggregate turnover as per the GST valuation provisions, you have to see if there is a transfer from one branch to another, that will be counted in your aggregate turnover for the purpose of GST, but will not be counted in your aggregate turnover in your P&L. So I hope you are clear that aggregate turnover not as per P&L, aggregate turnover as per your GST valuation provisions and GST law. And aggregate turnover means total turnover, that is taxable turnover plus exempt turnover, both to be included. So if your aggregate turnover is up to 1.5 crore in the previous financial year, so February 20 return is filed up to 30th June. March 20 return can be filed up to 3rd July, and April 20 return can be filed up to 6th July. So if you are doing this, so no interest and no fees, no late fees shall be leviable. But again I will repeat, if you miss the bus, for example February 20 return, if you are filing on 1st July instead of 30th June, so you are suppose in Mumbai, so 22nd March was the due date. So if you miss the bus by 1 day, then interest as well as late fees, interest at the rate of 18% and late fees whatever applicable shall be leviable from 23rd March, not from for one day. That's what you have to keep in mind. So that filed after respective date, late fees interest already covered. Now, if your aggregate turnover is more than 1.5 crore but less than 5 crore in the previous financial year, then it says that February 20 3B you can file up to 29th June, and April 20 you can file up to 30th June. So no interest and no late fees shall be leviable February, March, 29 June and April 30th June. But if you file after the respective date, what we have discussed in earlier box, then again late fees shall be leviable and interest also leviable at the rate of 18% from original due date. That is 20, in case of February 20, it will be applicable from 21st March 2020. If your aggregate turnover is more than 5 crore in a previous financial year, and if you file within due date or file within 15 days from the due date. So for example, February 20 return has to be filed by 20th March 2020. So if you file within up to 20th March 20 or maybe up to 4th April 20, that is 15 days from the due date. So no interest and no late fees shall be leviable. But if it is filed after 15 days from the due date, but up to 24th June 2020, so all these 3 months, if your aggregate turnover in the previous financial year is more than 5 crore, so all these 3 month return has to be filed on 24th June 2020. Then late fee shall not be leviable and interest at the rate of 9% for delay beyond 15 days shall be leviable. So this we will take an example in the next slide and then understand. But if you are filing after 24 June, then late fees as well as interest at the rate of 18% per annum shall be from the original due date. So for example, February, if you are filing on 25th June, then from 21st March 2020, you have to pay the interest at the rate of 18% and entire late fees up to 25th June. So concessional interest, just to summarize, your turnover is below 5 crore, so no interest is leviable. But turnover is above 5 crore, but filed within 15 days from the due date, then no interest. From 16th day up to 24th June, 9%. But if you are filing from on or after 25th June, then 18% from original due date. Just to understand, I have prepared one table. To suppose date of filing is 2nd May 2020 for the month of February 20. So number of days delay is 11. So reduced interest applicable, yes. Amount of interest 0. Rate of interest 0. Because it is within 15 days from the due date. But same February 2020 return, sorry, not February, I am taking March 2020. March 2020 return, if it is filed on 20th May 20, so there is a delay of 30 days. Reduced interest again available. Amount of interest will be 3,700. So 0 interest for first 15 days and interest at the rate of 9% for 15 days will come to 30,700. I presume that your gross liability for the month of March 2020 is rupees 10 lakhs. I am again repeating, it is on gross liability, not on net liability. So what it means is that if your gross liability is 10 lakh and your interest, sorry, your ITC for the month of March 2020 is suppose 8 lakh. So balance payable is only 2 lakh. But since you are filing return delayed and government is still not notified, not gross liability or net liability section 50 is still the same. So that interest has to be payable on the gross liability of 10 lakh. In GST Council, they have decided that retrospectively they will amend on this effect and interest to be on net liability, but still it is not yet amended. So on gross liability. If you are filing your GSTR 3B for the month of March on 24th June, so there is a number of delays 65, but 24th June is the last date. So reduced interest is applicable and zero interest for 15 days, and for balance 50 days, interest shall be leviable at the rate of 9%. But now, if you are filing your GSTR 3B for the month of March 2020 on 30th June, so that is delay of only 6 days from the extended period, that is 24th June, but number of days delays is actually 71 from the original due date. So the interest at the rate of 18% per annum shall be leviable for entire 71 days and no benefit of reduced interest will be available. So now your interest becomes 35,014 rupees. So what it means? Delay of 6 days. What extra you have to pay is more than double, or I can say more than 3 times. You can say roughly it is 3 times. That what you have to keep in mind. And again I am repeating that the due date for 9 and 9C is also 30th June. So in the last date, in the last week of June, how much the site is going to support, because GSTR 3B, 1, everything, the date will fall within last week of June. And at the same time, 9 and 9C will be also liable to be filed on that time. So you have to be cautious. One thing more you have to keep in mind is if your client is having turnover more than 5 crore, then also if he is not filing within 15 days of due date, he has to pay interest at the rate of 9%. RBI or government has not reduced any interest burden on the businessmen. So maybe all your client may be paying interest at the rate of more than 9%. So you can choose not to file return till 24th June and avail the loan facility, so-called loan facility till 24th June at the rate of 9%. And you can pay the lesser interest rate as compared to bank interest rate. That is also another aspect to it. And again, if you want to file your 3B within 15 days from the due date, and that due date is falling under the lockdown. For example, by March 2020 return, the due date is 5th April. Matlab, not due date is, actually due date is 20th April, which extended period of 15 days, if I go with no interest, then it is 5th May. So if I'm filing on 5th May, if I'm making payment, and for making payment, you have to file your GSTR 3B. So you have to keep in mind that March return always has to be perfect. So you also want to take all your credit related to March or your sales related to March. So you have to close your books of account and everything. Then only you can finalize your March return. So that also need to be done before tomorrow, because today is 4th May. So that also you should keep in mind. Now I'm going to the due date of May 2020 GSTR 3B. So what we have seen in 3B of Feb, March and April, the due date was not extended. So the due date is original due date. But when I'm coming to May 2020, the due date of GSTR 3B has been extended here. There is no conditional waiver of interest. There is no conditional waiver of late fees as what we have seen in previous slide for February, March and April. But May, it is actually an extension of due date. So what they have done is, if your turnover is more than 5 crore during the previous financial year, the due date is 27th June 2020 instead of 20th June. So 7 days extension has been given. So if you are filing your return on 28th June, then you are liable to pay interest as well as late fees only for 1 day, not for 8 days. I hope you understood what I am saying. And the due date for the GSTN falling under the West and South state of India will be 12th July. And for the GSTN for which GSTN in the state falling under North and East part of India on 14th July 2020. So again, here actually the extension of due date in the month of May 20 for 3B. So just I have summarized the late fees waiver for delay in filing of return, GSTR1, irrespective of turnover. You can, no late fees shall be leviable up to 30th June for the month of March, April and May. GSTR 3B up to 1.5 crore. So February 30th June, March 3rd July, April 6th July and May 12th or 14th July as the case may be. Above 1.5 crore but below 5 crore it is 29th Feb, 29th June, March 2020, 29th June, April 20, 30th June and May 20 it is 12th or 14th July as the case may be. Above 5 crore, February, March, April, no late fees shall be leviable up to 30th June and May 20, no late fees up to 27th June. Now this is from my side as far as the GST normal dealer's return is concerned. Now I am moving to the composition dealer. Composition dealer means it will cover both composition dealer, the composition dealer who are covered under section 10 of the CGST Act or as well as under notification number 2/2019. What is the difference between two? Section 10 cover the dealer or the registered taxable person is dealing in a goods, maybe manufacturer or a trader of a goods or maybe having a restaurant or outdoor catering, will cover under section 10. The composition scheme was also allowed now, is also allowed now to the supplier of service. So that will fall under 2/2019. So both the scheme says that you have to opt, if you want to opt for the composition scheme prior to 31st March. That is before the beginning of the financial year. So suppose for 2021, last date was 31st March 2020 to opt for the composition scheme for the financial year 2021. Now it has been extended to 30th June 2020 and the form is CMP 02. Once you are opting for the scheme, so whatever credit you have taken, because earlier you was not in the scheme, you are allowed to take the credit, so whatever stock is lying with you or whatever extra credit you have taken, that need to be reversed within 30 days of opting of the scheme. Suppose you are opting for the scheme, the due date was 31st March, so you can opt, you can file ITC 03 for reversal of input tax credit till 30th April. Now it also has been extended till 31st July 2020. Composition dealer is also required to file their statement of payment on a quarterly basis under Form CMP 0A. So for the quarter of January to March 2020, the due date was 18th April 2020. Now it has been 7th July 2020. GSTR 4, that is annual statement, need to be filed for the financial year 1920. The due date was 30th April. Now it has been extended to 15th July 2020. Now they have also extended the due date for TDS return, TCS return, ISD and non-resident taxpayer return. So what is TDS return? So first I will start TDS return. We will see when we'll come to TDS. So first I will start with non-resident foreign taxpayer. So if a foreigner coming into India or doing some business in India and he is on a temporary basis, then he can take a non-resident foreign taxpayer registration. So for that, he is required to file monthly return in the form GSTR 5, and the due date is 20th of the succeeding month. So for the month of March, April and May 2020, now they have extended and now it is to be filed till 30th June 2020. Input service distributor. So suppose if I am having an office in Mumbai or maybe at a factory at Gujarat, so I can transfer my credit from Mumbai to Gujarat by taking an input service distributor registration. So once I have taken a registration for ISD, I am required to file my GST return on a monthly basis in form GSTR 6, and the due date is 13th of the succeeding month. So March, April and May 2020 return now can be filed, ISD return can be filed up to 30th June 2020. TDS. If I am supplying any goods or services to government or public sector unit, that government and a government enterprise or public sector unit is required to deduct my TDS at the rate of 1% if my supply is more than 2.5 lakh in a year. So that government company or PSU is required to file this TDS return on a monthly basis, and the due date is 10th of the succeeding month. So for the month of March, April and May 2020, it has been extended till 30th June 2020. E-commerce operator. So suppose if I have a list, I am having a listing at e-commerce platform and I am supplying any goods from that platform. So e-commerce company collect money on my behalf from the customer and remit that money to me. So while remitting that money to me, e-commerce operator is required to collect tax at source from the retailer at the rate of 1%, and he is also required to file monthly return in the form GSTR 1, and the due date is 10th of the succeeding month. Now for the month of March, April and May, it has been extended to 30th June. So all these 4 returns also extended till 30th June, irrespective of the due date for the month of March, April and May 2020. I am saying it is extended. So what is the meaning of this? If March month return is filed on 1st July 2020, then only late fees for 1 day is required to be paid. So it is actually extended, not the conditional waiver. Further, they have extended the due date for issue of notice, notifications, approval order, sanction order, filing of appeal, furnishing of return statement, application, report, any other document, time limit for any compliance under GST law, where the time limit is expiring between 20th March to 29th June 2020 is extended to 30th June 2020. Also, they have said, you know that e-way bill is required to be issued for movement of goods from one place to another, subject to certain monetary limit. I am not going into detail. And there is also a time limit for the e-way bill. So if it has to be travel up to 100 kilometers, then the e-way bill validity is of 1 day. And then 100 kilometers per day, that is the validity. So if any e-way bill has been issued, maybe in the month of March, and whose period is expiring between 20th March to 15th April, then instead of going to the site and extending, it will be automatically extended till 30th April 2020. But suppose any e-way bill has been issued and the expiry of that is also coming on 16th April or later than 16th April. You all know that the lockdown has been extended till now 17th May 2020. So if it is falling between 16th April to 17th May 2020, then that extension has not been granted. So if your e-way bill expiry is falling on 15th April, it will automatically extend it till 30th April. But if it is expiring on 16th April or 17th April, you have to manually do the extension. Otherwise, department may levy the penalty and confiscate the goods as the case may be. So you have to be very cautious. And you all know that during this period, the trucks are kept on a hold at the side of the road. तो आप उसका मूवमेंट नहीं कर सकते हो ड्यू टू लॉकडाउन. So during this period, it is very dangerous for that consigner and consignee or maybe the transporter need to this extent and keep this in mind of extension. Otherwise, the movement of goods will become very, very difficult and risky, I will say. So we are represented from the institute that this e-way bill expiry need to be done on an immediate basis till 17th May or till the lockdown finish. Let's hope they will come out with some notification on this. The due date of filing of refund also has been extended. If your return is, you know that return has to be filed within 2 years from the relevant date. So maybe for 17-18, the due date is falling between 20th March or later on. Then now the refund can be filed up to 30th June 2020. A registered person making zero rated supply without payment of IGST, so he has to give LUT or maybe he has to give the bond. So now most of the exporter are giving LUT only. So I am discussing LUT here. So zero rated supply means when you are exporting the goods or services out of India, or when you are supplying a goods or services to unit or a developer, unit in SEZ or a developer of SEZ. You can supply without payment of tax by issuance of by taking the LUT. And LUT you can take for the financial year. So it is advisable that LUT for the financial year 2021 should be taken on or before 31st March 20. So now what government has done that the due date of this LUT is also been extended till 30th June 2020. So if you are exporting any goods or services between 1st April 2020 to 30th June 2020, so practically you are not having any LUT for the year 2021. So it has been clarified that whatever LUT you have taken in the year 1920, the same LUT number you can put on your document and you can export and take the benefit. But otherwise also LUT has to be applied online. I suggest that you should take the LUT online because you don't require anything for taking LUT. So don't wait for last date because 30th June you have a lot of things to do. So a lot of things to be done. So take LUT at the earliest. Again, they have extended the due date for GSTR 9 and 9C. Earlier it was 31st December. 31st December 2019, then it was extended to 31st March 2020. Now it has been extended till 30th June 2020. So what they have done is that GSTR annual return and reconciliation statement, if your turnover is less than 2 crore, then GSTR 9 is optional and GSTR 9C is not applicable at all. But even if we are suggesting all our clients that even if your turnover is less than 2 crore, you should file your GSTR 9. GSTR 9 is nothing but your reconciliation, one sort of reconciliation, and if you do the reconciliation, if any liability is left out, तो आप उसका पेमेंट अभी कर सकते हो with only interest and penalty shall be waived off. So it is always advisable, even if your turnover is less than 2 crore, you should file your GSTR 9. But if your turnover is between 2 crore to 5 crore, here I am not talking about the previous year turnover, it is the turnover of 2018-19, that's what we have to see. So if your turnover for the year 18-19 is 2 crore to 5 crore, that is again I am saying aggregate turnover. Filing of GSTR 9 is mandatory. So I have received various questions or many questions from the members, CAs, that I have to file GSTR 9 for 2 crore to 5 crore. The answer is yes, it is mandatory as per law. GSTR 9C not applicable, but 2 to 5 crore, GSTR 9 required to be filed. And if your turnover for the year 18-19 is more than 5 crore, then GSTR 9 and 9C both are mandatory. So you just keep this in mind. E-invoicing, if your turnover is above 100 crore, so e-invoicing was required to be mandatory from 1st April 2020. Now it has been extended to 1st October 2020. Those who are supplying B2C supplies like retailers and their turnover is up to 500 crore, then their invoice should contain a QR code, which was also going to be mandatory from 1st April 2020. Now it has been extended to 1st October 2020. Both of the above is e-invoicing is not applicable for the following class of SSEs. That is insurance company, banking company, financial institution, NBFC, GTA, supplier supplying passenger transport service to like railway, aviation, that is airline company, bus service. E-invoicing is not required. A registered person supplying services by way of admission to exhibition of cinematographic film in a multiplex screen. So basically a theater which is having a multiplex screen. A single screen theater, then e-invoicing if turnover is more than 100 crore or 500 crore. So B2C supplies are there, to 500 crore to QR code is required. But multiplex, it is not required. Now next is, they have also made Aadhaar authentication mandatory from 1st April 2020. It is made mandatory for GST registration. Provisions are applicable to following class of person: individual, authorized signatory of all types, managing and authorized partner, Karta of HUF. So even if a director who is authorized, then his Aadhaar should be authenticated on the site before registration. If Aadhaar authentication is not applied to the person, it is not applied to the person who are not Indian citizens. So in a company where foreign directors are concerned, उसका आधार हमको कराना जरूरी नहीं है. If you are not giving your Aadhaar of the authorized person, then physical verification of premises within 60 days is compulsory. So within 60 days, departmental official will come to your office to verify your premises. So it is advisable to put the Aadhaar along with the registration. This is also a good step, I will say, and what they have done is that, so you understand that first advances received. So in the business, normally we receive the advances, maybe for the services or maybe for the goods. So once you receive anything in advance, you are required to issue the receipt voucher. It may be possible that later on that advance what you have received is refunded back to the recipient because maybe the goods or services not supplied or maybe for any reason. So you have to refund back that money. Once you receive money in advance, you are liable to pay the GST for the services to be supplied. So for that, you have to issue the refund voucher. But in case of services, what is happening is for advances also, instead of receipt voucher, many SSCs issue the invoice. Invoice is issued before the supply of GST is paid. Then supplier shall issue, in that scenario when money is refunded back, he can issue a credit note. But now, what is the issue? Suppose I have received any money in advance for services to be supplied rupees 10 lakh, or maybe GST on that is applicable rupees 10 lakh in the month of March 20. In May 2020, I came to know that I am not going to supply that service, or recipient says that I am not, he don't want that services and I am not started my service also. So in that scenario, I am required to refund back that money to the recipient. And in the month of May, suppose my total turnover is only on which the GST is payable is only rupees 2 lakh. So if I am putting or I am feeding a credit note of 10 lakh against my liability of the same month is 2 lakh, it is not, system is not allowing me to do that. So now what they are saying is that in that scenario, if you are not in a position to adjust against your supply, you can claim the refund in form RFD 01 under the option excess payment of tax, if any. That is the option available. So now this is the welcome change. But in the scenario when you are not issued the invoice, you issued the receipt voucher, and supplier can issue a refund voucher when the money is service is not supplied, and he can apply for refund in form GST RFD 1. So that facility was not there earlier. Now coming to goods side. So on goods, there is no GST on advance received. But where the goods are supplied by the supplier or returned by the recipient, for which the tax invoice has been issued, the supplier shall issue credit note in accordance with the section 34 of the CGST Act. So again, मेरा 10 लाख का लायबिलिटी था, 10 लाख का मैंने माल सप्लाई किया था मार्च में, तो पूरा माल मुझे मई में आ गया, पूरा 10 लाख का, बट मई की लायबिलिटी मेरी 2 लाख की है. So I can't put that. So now system is saying that I can file a refund in this scenario also under form RFD 01 under excess payment of tax, if any. Under that facility, I can do that. So this is a welcome change. Now my money will not stuck and I will get the refund. Now they have given some relief in rule 36.4. So I am going to separately cover this in when I am going to cover ITC tomorrow. So same set of audience are there. So I am not repeating here that what are the relief given under section rule 36.4. And again, they have made some changes in rule 43. That is the ITC in respect of capital goods. Again, I am going to cover that in detail tomorrow. So I will take up this at that point of time. Now this is also recommended IT roadmap that we should be aware that what is going to happen in future. So we should guide our client that they should follow this strictly. A presentation was made by Nandan Nilekani on behalf of Infosys to bring following changes in GST and network working system. So IT system is to be augmented to concurrently handle 3 lakh taxpayers. which is very less currently. Linking of outward supplies in GSTR 1 with the liability in GSTR 3B. So today there is no linkages between GSTR 1 and 3B. So what SSCs were doing, GSTR 1 they are filing on time, so that credit will be available to the recipient in GSTR 2A. So there is no restriction of credit, but they are not filing their GSTR 3B. To curb this practice, now they are going to link 1 with 3B. Next is linking of ITC in 3B with the details of supplies reflected in GSTR 2A. तो मेरा अगर 2A में क्रेडिट नहीं आया तो मेरा 3B में उसका क्रेडिट नहीं आएगा. That what also they are planning. So you have to be very choosy or very vigilant while selecting your supplier. Purchase goods or services from the person who is making GST payment on time. अभी तो आपको फिर भी क्रेडिट मिल जा रहा है, आगे जाके नहीं मिलेगा. Now there are certain changes in respect of GST refund. So now decision has been taken to process the pending refund claim very fast. Expedite करने के लिए instructions दिया गया है, because due to COVID many SSCs may be facing a financial crunch, liquidity issue. So department board has instructed you clear the refund at the earliest. Income tax में भी आपने देखा होगा आपके पुराने काफी रिटर्न जो CPC में पेंडिंग थे वो आपको आ गए हैं. Even though the GST law provides 15 days for issuing of acknowledgement or deficiency memo and total 60 days for disposing of refund claim without any liability to pay interest, all pending refund application must be taken up for processing immediately. But at the same time, what instruction they have given, very difficult for me to understand. Really they want to give refund or they don't want to give refund, और only जो है public को दिखाने के लिए कि देखो हमने refund दे रहे हैं. They have issued this instruction. The line is due diligence, however, may be done before granting the refund on merit. So आपको जब सब कुछ चेक ही करना है और फिर ही रिफंड देना है, all due diligence has to be done. How we are going to do the due diligence without having an interface with the SSC? So whether you want to give refund or you don't want to give refund. So again, very difficult for me to understand. And again, they have said that prescribed process doesn't warrant any physical submission of document. At least they have given that clarification. What refund actually SSC is going to get or not, as far as this instruction is concerned, wait and watch. Now they have made some changes in respect of calculating turnover of zero rated supplies. तो क्या होता था, अगर मेरा कोई गुड्स है जो मैं डोमेस्टिकली 100 रुपए का सप्लाई करता हूँ, I may export that goods at 200 rupees, 300 rupees. Take an example of Pashmina shawl in Kashmir. Pashmina shawl in Kashmir, अगर मैं कश्मीर में जाके खरीदता हूँ तो शायद हो सकता है मुझे 2000 में मिलती होगी. But the same is when it is exported, मुझे 10,000 रुपए मिल जाएगा उसका. So previously what was happening is, while calculating my zero rated supply turnover, it is taken at 10,000 rupees for Pashmina shawl. Or maybe you take another example when we are sitting in a Mumbai. So Alfonso mango जो मुझे शायद 300 रुपए डजन बॉम्बे में मिलता होगा, एक्सपोर्ट मेरा हो सकता है कि 1000 रुपए डजन में हो जाए. Correct? So as of today, the Alfonso mango is under the exempt supply. But for taking this example, I am just saying that you understand, you presume that this is also a taxable commodity, mango. So अगर मुझे एक्सपोर्ट में ज्यादा पैसा मिल रहा है तो मैं ज्यादा एक्सपोर्ट कर सकता हूँ और आई कैन टेक मोर रिफंड आल्सो. बट नाउ व्हाट दे हैव डन इज द वैल्यू, दे सेड दैट अगर ये 300 रुपए डजन मेरा अल्फांसो मैंगो बिक रहा है बॉम्बे में, so maximum for the purpose of calculating refund we will treat 450, that is 1.5 times as your zero rated turnover. तो पश्मीना शॉल जो हमने एग्जांपल लिया 2000 के बदले 3000 रुपया ही हम उसको गिनेंगे, जबकि मेरा एक्चुअल एक्सपोर्ट 10,000 में हुआ है. So in a way they are going to restrict my refund. So again, I am not clear with the government policy whether they are promoting export or they want to kill the exporter, or they want that all the exporters should export at a cheaper price only, even if they are eligible for a higher price. So again, the policies are not clear. Maybe one or two cases they have found there where this manipulation has been done, but this is not the way. If you go to the Constitution of India, वो बोलता है कि 100 गुनहगार छूट जाएं, बट एक बेगुनाह को फांसी नहीं होनी चाहिए. बट यहाँ पे ऐसा हो रहा है कि अगर 1 or 2 are culprit, so they are thinking that everybody is culprit and now they are restricting. So whether the entire GST policy, according to me, is against the exporter and entire GST policy is favorable for importer. What is going to happen, I don't know. Next is recovery of refund of unutilized ITC of IGST paid on export of goods where export proceed not realized. So if you see the GST law, the definition of export, it says that as far as services are concerned, you have to receive money in convertible foreign exchange, that only it will be treated as export. But as far as goods are concerned, it says that the goods should move from India to out of India to be treated as export. Whether money received or not, convertible foreign exchange or INR, nothing has been mentioned under entire GST law. Now they have amended Rule 96B, and there they are saying that where any refund of unutilized ITC on account of export, because आप IGST में, if you are making a refund application and you are exporting goods after making payment of IGST, so आपको within 7 days आ जाना चाहिए सिस्टम से पैसा. भले आता नहीं है, but 30 days में आ जाता है 90% of the money. So even before realization of money for the export of goods, you will get the refund of IGST or maybe refund of ITC also if you are exporting under LUT. But later on, if that sale proceed in respect of such export goods has not been realized in full or part, तो समझो 10 लाख का गुड गया 5 लाख की आया, या 10 लाख का गुड गया कुछ भी नहीं आया, तो both the scenario they have covered. And money should be received in India, not in your foreign branch or not by your foreign agent, within the period allowed under the FEMA or including any extension of such period by the RBI. तो समझो 1 साल का पीरियड है, 1 साल में मेरा पैसा आ जाना चाहिए, वो भी इंडिया में. So अगर वो पैसा नहीं आ रहा है, समझो 10 लाख के बदले 5 लाख आ रहा है और 10 लाख पूरा ही नहीं आ रहा है, so जितना भी शॉर्टफॉल है, so he is required to deposit back this money in the government kitty along with the applicable interest within 30 days of the expiry of the said period. तो समझो मेरा माल जो है, पैसा जो मेरा आना चाहिए था 30 अप्रैल 2020 तक आना चाहिए था, और उसका एक्सटेंशन भी मैं अप्लाई नहीं कर पाया टू द आरबीआई बिकॉज ऑफ द लॉकडाउन. That money has not been received. So till 30th May, I should refund that money with the interest. Suppose if I have received a refund, maybe on June 2019, ये refund आ गया था. तो तब से लेके आज तक का मुझे इसको गवर्नमेंट को इंटरेस्ट के साथ पैसा वापस देना पड़ेगा, which is not the requirement when I exported the goods. Now they are coming out with the new requirement. And further they said that where the sale proceed in respect of such export were good are not realized, but RBI write off the requirement of realization on sale proceed on merit, then this condition should not apply. Further, if it says that if sale proceeds are realized after the amount of refund has been recovered from him, तो समझो मेरा 30 जून का 30 अप्रैल के बाद मेरा पैसा आ गया 30 जून को, पर तब तक 31-30 मई तक मैंने ऑलरेडी गवर्नमेंट को दे दिया. Then what will happen? The applicant produces evidence of the recovery of money within a period of 3 months from the date of realization. The amount so recovered shall be refunded to the applicant to the extent of realization of sale proceed. So मेरे से जो इंटरेस्ट के साथ पैसा लिया, मुझे इंटरेस्ट देंगे कि नहीं देंगे उसके बारे में कहीं पे कुछ भी नहीं दिया है, और ड्यूरिंग दैट पीरियड का भी इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा क्या मुझे, नो आइडिया. And further condition is that sale proceed have been realized within such extended period as permitted by RBI. So अगर ये मनी मुझे 30 जून तक आ गया, बट मीनवाइल RBI ने उसका मुझे एक्सटेंशन नहीं दिया, तो भी मुझे रिफंड नहीं मिलेगा. So I've exported the goods, I realized the money, then also I'm not eligible for refund. So again, as I said, very difficult for me to understand whether government want to promote export or want to discourage exporter from India. Now, government has issued one circular 125 in the year 2019, where what they said that, take an example, suppose I am a trader, मैंने कोई माल खरीदा जनवरी 20 से लेके मार्च 20 के बीच में, अप टू मार्च 20 कभी भी मैंने माल खरीदा, which I am going to export in April 20. तो credit of previous financial year I can't claim again export in the next financial year. That what they have issued a circular number 125, and they said that credit will not be allowed, and which is a common practice. जरूरी नहीं है कि मैं मेरा जो भी माल खरीदा है 31 मार्च तक मैंने खरीदा वो 31 मार्च तक एक्सपोर्ट ही होगा. It's impossible. I will not say it is difficult, I will say it is impossible. But government had issued a circular saying that we will not give you a refund of the previous financial year. In the year 1920 का refund मैं 20-21 में नहीं दूंगा. So that was totally against the law. On pursuant of the provision under subsection 3 of section 16, so I am just putting a provision. Section 16(3) of IGST Act and 54(3) of CGST Act, which is talking about refund and zero rated supply. There is no bar that one financial year ka credit I can't take in the next financial year. So as far as law is concerned, there is no restriction. But by way of circular, government is restricting the power of refund. So whether it is possible, how the Indian government is working, it is a classic case of example. तो एक्ट ने परमिशन नहीं दिया है, फिर भी वो बोलता है मुझे नहीं देना है. So there was a case in Delhi High Court on 21st January 2020. They have issued a order in case of Pitambara Books Private Limited. In para 13, they said that has stayed a regress of paragraph 8 of that circular 125 where it has been restricted, and also directed the government to either open the online portal so to enable the petitioner to file the tax refund electronically or to accept the same manually within 4 weeks and to grant the refund. They can't. Further, the court has commented, and it is very important for everyone who is practicing in tax. So it is very, very good judgment, and very categorically they have said what is the power of the government as far as the circular is concerned and what is the validity or legality of the circular. In para 12 of the aforesaid order, court has observed that the circular can supplement but not supplant but not supplement the law. Circular might mitigate regress of law by granting administrative relief beyond relevant provision of the statute. However, central government is not empowered to withdraw benefit or impose stricter condition that posthulately by law. So circular cannot take the benefit which is granted to me. It has to be taken by law only. So it cannot curtail my benefit of the SSE. It can expand the benefit of the SSE. So based on above, now bunching of refund claim are allowed across the financial year. So अगर जो मैंने 1920 में भी माल खरीदा है और उसका एक्सपोर्ट 2021 में किया है, then also I am allowed to take the refund of the same. So this also they understood after the court ने उसको बहुत जोर से डांटा है और उसको समझाया है गवर्नमेंट को कि आपके पास पावर ही नहीं है, how you can restrict. Then only they have issued this circular and granting a refund now. Then refund of ITC in case of reduction of tax rate. So I'm not explaining the provision, I'm just explaining the provision with the help of example, so it will be easier for understanding. Suppose there is a goods X, जिस पे 18% GST था. Subsequently, the rate of GST of this product has been reduced to 12%. So मैंने पहले का माल खरीदा हुआ था 18% में. Now on date of certain date, it has been 12%. So now that 18% goods I am going to sell at 12%. So now the question here is whether this is the inverted duty structure or not. So in this circular, what they have done is that the refund of accumulated ITC in terms of clause 2 of subclause 3, terms clause 2 of subsection 3 of section 54 CGST Act is available where the credit of accumulated account of rate of tax on input being higher than the rate of then output, credit is refund is allowed. That is what we call an inverted rate duty structure. But the input and output being the same in such cases, though attracting different rate of tax at different point of time, do not get covered under inverted duty. That is what the interpretation of the government is there. And they say that refund is not allowed and this will not be treated as inverted duty. Then they have made a change in the manner of refund of tax paid on supplies other than zero rated supplies. Earlier, refund claim of supplies other than zero rated supplies and total tax would normally be paid by applicant by debiting tax amount from both electronic credit ledger and electronic cash ledger. Earlier, this cases, the amount of admissible refund is paid in cash. So मैंने क्रेडिट लेजर को डेबिट करके भी अगर पेमेंट किया है तो भी मुझे कैश में पैसा मिल जाता था. Now they are restricting and they are saying that जिस proportion में you have made the payment, उन proportion में ही I will give you a refund other than zero rated supply. तो अगर मेरे पास क्रेडिट ज्यादा है तो मैं उस क्रेडिट का वापस रिफंड लेके करूंगा क्या? So I am unable to understand why these changes has been made. So all these changes, if you are seeing, that government is looking from their revenue angle, not from the angle of the business. Then further, under the earlier refund of ITC was allowed in respect of invoices not reflected in Form GSTR 2A if copies of such invoices were uploaded on the GSTN portal. Now after introduction of 36(4), now they are restricting it that you can't take credit of more than 10%. So now government has clarified that if any invoice of your supplier is not reflecting in your GSTR 2A, even though if you are uploading the invoice, we are not going to give you a refund. So again, in all the provisions, they are saying that we are going to restrict your refund without mistake of yours. अगर मेरे सप्लायर ने रिटर्न भरा ही नहीं है या 3B में उसने पेमेंट कर दिया है बट GSTR 1 में दिखाना भूल गया है या GSTR 1 में दिखा दिया है पर 3B में नहीं है, तो ऑल दिस कंडीशंस में मेरा क्रेडिट तो चला जाएगा. या मेरे बदले किसी और का GSTN नंबर डाल दिया गलती से GSTR 1 में, then it will not be reflected in 2A and I will not get the credit. So according to me, all this should be challenged in a court. Again, they have given a new requirement to mention HSN code in Annexure B for refund. So if you see that GSTR 2A, तो उसमें मेरा HSN wise कोई डिटेल नहीं आता है. But because of that, the officer who is processing refund is facing a difficulty whether it is a capital goods का refund है कि input service का है. How it's going to make difference to them, I don't know. So now, Annexure B you are required to attach along with the your refund claim. In that they said that HSN code also needs to be added against your refund claim. If I am getting a supply from hundreds or thousands of suppliers and thousands of goods I am purchasing and for which I am claiming refund, if I am claiming refund of the same, from where to get the HSN code? Again, it's very difficult because it is not reflected in 2A. Manually, I have to go through the invoice. Invoice पे भी उसने लिखा नहीं होगा तो प्रॉब्लम है. 1.5 crore के नीचे is not required to put a HSN code. So, from how to get that HSN code for inward supply is again a tough job and delay in filing of refund only. So, these are the what are the important changes during this period I have covered. Now, I am taking up the few issues, but I am finding it relevant due to the COVID-19 or coronavirus or due to the lockdown. So I will deal with these issues which you or your SSC, your client is going to face currently or maybe in future when the lockdown will open. So the first issue is rent not paid by tenant due to COVID. तो मेरा 20 मार्च से लॉकडाउन है, पूरा अप्रैल मेरा निकल गया, 17 मई तक मेरा लॉकडाउन है. Now tenant come to the owner of the property premises saying that sir मेरा तो ऑफिस ही बंद था, मेरा तो दुकान ही बंद था, तो मुझे आप डोंट चार्ज द रेंट टू मी. सो मैं आपके पास 3 साल से बैठा हूँ, 5 साल से बैठा हूँ या आगे 5 साल बैठने वाला हूँ, तो मैं आपको संभाल रहा हूँ, तो आप भी मुझे संभालो. एंड ओनर एग्रीड फॉर दैट ऑल्सो. So he said, okay, I will not charge any rent. But what about the GST on the said rent? Whether this is payable? GST on the rent on which owner and landlord and tenant both are agreeable not to pay. So GST is payable on the same. तो सबसे पहला इशू आपके दिमाग में आना चाहिए कि आपके केस में ऐसा कहीं पे है क्या, किसी क्लाइंट ने पूछा, और पूछा तो आपके हिसाब से क्या आंसर होना चाहिए. So now, what is the supply of service in case of renting? In renting, I am giving a right to use my premises to someone. So it is a granting to use the premises. Suppose मैंने 2 साल पहले वो premises उसको भाड़े पे दिया है 5 साल के लिए. So premises मैंने उसको सर्विस कब सप्लाई कर दिया? 2 years back when I have given the right to use that premises for next 5 years. So service has been supplied 2 years back once the right has been given. But this service is a continuous supply of service because it is supplied more than 3 months. So in case of continuous supply of service contract, law says that GST is payable when GST आपको कब पे करना है? When you are eligible to get that money or you actually receive the money, whichever is earlier. So all rent agreement says that अप्रैल का रेंट आपको 7 अप्रैल को देना है, मई का रेंट आपको 7 मई को देना है. So this is the due date. अब whether you received money or not, you are liable to pay GST on this date, and you have supplied the service also. So क्रेडिट नोट आप कब इशू करते हो? जब आपने सर्विस ही नहीं दी है. बट इन दिस केस यू हैव सप्लाइड द सर्विस बिकॉज प्रीमाइसेस तो उसके कंट्रोल में ही था, उसके पोजीशन में ही था टेनेंट के. वो खुद ऑफिस में गया कि नहीं गया, दैट इज द सेकेंडरी इशू. बट द सर्विस हैज बीन सप्लाइड and there is no deficiency of service as far as the owner is concerned. And whether you received money or not, it is liable to be paid because the due date has occurred. So in this scenario, whether you received money or not, as far as the owner is concerned, he is liable to pay GST on the rent portion. So be cautious if your client is the owner of the property, or so even though if he has not received money, शायद आपके बुक्स में 11 महीने का ही रेंट आ जाए, जब ऑडिट पे आप देखो तो उस टाइम पे आपको क्लाइंट को कॉशियस करना है कि बॉस इसके ऊपर भी आपको भरना है, भले रिसीव हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ है. Next, can ITC be claimed on rent invoice for lockdown period? So, section 16, subsection 2 says that you can claim the ITC once you receive the service, once you make the payment. So, all that 4 conditions they have given, so there has to be an invoice. So I presume that invoice is there. Then you should receive the service. So definitely we have discussed the same in the previous question also, that you have received the service only because आपके possession में you are using that premises, whether physically you are going, not going, that is a different story altogether. But you are using that premises. You have made the payment. If you have not made the payment of the rent, only you made the payment of GST, then also you are not eligible to claim credit. You are eligible to claim credit only and only when you will make the payment of service as well as GST both to the supplier. That what you have to keep in mind. Suppose मैंने बिल मार्च में रेज कर दिया, बट बिल रेज कर दिया मैंने 20 मार्च को, 21 मार्च से मेरा लॉकडाउन हो गया, ट्रांसपोर्टर मेरा 21 मार्च को आने वाला था, which he never came. Now, whether GST is payable on the same? If I go to time of supply, it says that GST is in respect of goods, GST is payable once you issue the invoice or dispatch the goods, whichever is earlier. So here I have raised the invoice on 20th March, presuming that 21st March को मेरा माल चला ही जाएगा और वो सुबह सुबह 7 बजे आके ट्रांसपोर्टर लेके जाता है, तो 20 मार्च को बना के रख दिया जाने के पहले. So in that scenario, you are liable to pay GST on the invoices raised even though the goods has not been dispatched. Whether the answer will change if sales are recognized in the books of account after goods are dispatched. If you have already issued the invoice, whether you recognize the sale in the books of account, you have not recognized the sale in the books of account, has no relevance as far as the payment of GST is concerned. So even though if these goods are not dispatched, in my view, it is to be paid. Whether ITC be claimed on purchase entries passed in books in March 20. However, the goods were not received till 31st March due to lockdown. Suppose supplier ने invoice issue कर दिया 15 मार्च को और उसने माल भी dispatch कर दिया. माल supposed to come to my premises on 25th March, but 20 मार्च को लॉकडाउन हो गया तो माल रास्ते में ही पड़ा है और अभी तक रिसीव नहीं हुआ. So can recipient claim the ITC? Answer is no, because section 16(2) specifically says that you are allowed to receive the you are allowed to take the credit once you receive the goods or services. Since you have not received the goods, credit is not allowed. Time of supply for rendering of services triggered in March 20, but the bill not prepared due to lockdown and ERP system locked for March 20. No backdate entry is allowed. So GST law says that if service is supplied and invoice is raised within 30 days, then date of invoice shall be the time of supply. If service is supplied but invoice is not raised within 30 days, then the date of supply of service will be the time of supply of GST, payment of GST, time of supply. So in that scenario, 30 days तक भी अगर आपका invoice issue नहीं हुआ है, then also you are liable to pay the GST on the same. And this is the issue, last issue what I am going to take up is not related to COVID, but once AR has come in respect of GST, applicability of GST on salary paid to full-time director. So there is a director, full-time director, who is getting salary from the company for the services what is giving. So there is a provision under the GST law, and it was there also under the erstwhile service tax law, which says that GST shall be payable under reverse charge mechanism by the company on the services received from services supplied by director. But if you go to Schedule 3 of the GST law, which says it is neither supply of goods nor supply of service, in that schedule there is one entry which says that services by an employee to the employer is neither supply of service nor supply of goods. So it is not a supply. So now the question here is whether director is the employee of the company or not. The Rajasthan AR says that he cannot be employee of the company because he manages the company. So he is not employee. So it will not fall in Schedule 3, and hence GST shall be applicable under reverse charge on the same. So first of all, we have to understand that in case of AAR, it is applicable only and only to the person who has asked for that AR. So अगर समझो कंपनी ए लिमिटेड ने राजस्थान में AR मांगा है तो उसको खाली राजस्थान के लिए ही उस कंपनी को ही लगेगा, राजस्थान की और कोई कंपनी को AR एप्लीकेबल नहीं होगा. But A Limited is also having office or GST number in Maharashtra, so same AR will also not apply to the same company in Maharashtra also. That's what we have to understand. Now my view on this is that if you go to the Income Tax Act, whatever salaries we are paying to full-time director, on that we are deducting TDS under section 192 and giving form 16 which we are giving to the employees of the company. So income tax recognizes this as an employee of the company. Under the erstwhile service tax law, the similar provisions were there, and there was a tribunal judgment which says that directors are employee of the company. If you go to ESIC Act also, it says that if there are 19 employees and one director who is also paid salary, then for the purpose of ESIC also it will be treated as these employees and ESIC will become applicable. So ESIC law also treat director as a employee of the company. Again, if you go to the Companies Act, which is the mother law as far as the companies are concerned, if you go to section 190 as well as section 196, both indirectly says that the directors are the employee of the company. So various places it has been recognized as the employee of the company only. So in my view, GST shall be no GST shall be applicable on salary paid to full-time director. So these are from my side as far as this is concerned. So whatever I discuss, what my opinions or views, and opinions or views are like wristwatches. Every watch shows different time from others, but everyone believes that their time is right. So once again, I thank Mumbai Network for inviting me here to share my thought, and I'm sending regular GST update. Those who are interested can save my number 98205 37986 and send me your full name, your name of the city, and your profession. WhatsApp has a feature that unless my number is saved, it will not deliver the message to you because I'm doing this update through a broadcast, WhatsApp broadcast, or else you can follow me on my Twitter. This is my Twitter handle. So this is more from my side as far as today's presentation is concerned. Now we can take up a question answer if any. So yes, Viraj. Yeah, Abhishek. So we'll take up a question, or what do you suggest?
Yes, sir.
Any question is there? Or we can go to
Yeah,
next
yeah,
topic.
sir. There are too many.
Okay, बहुत सारे questions है तो चलो question
Yeah,
लेते हैं ना.
1 minute, sir.
या आराम से
हाँ, आवाज आ रही है सर?
Yes, yes.
Could you please settle me the GST applicability on salary paid to partners?
आवाज नहीं आ रहा क्लियर। क्या स्क्रीन पे दिखा सकते हैं क्वेश्चन अभिषेक, पॉसिबल है? सो आई कैन रीड एंड आंसर।
क्वेश्चन टैब में दिख सकता है सर।
हाँ, स्क्रीन पे सर वो
क्वेश्चन
क्वेश्चन
टैब
को
है
लिख
ना
के
सर,
दिया।
आपके वहाँ पे वो ओपन कर लीजिए सर, अनडॉक क्वेश्चन टैब। उसको सर थोड़ा फुल स्क्रीन करना पड़ेगा या बड़ा स्क्रीन करना पड़ेगा?
तो एक क्वेश्चन है, कैन यू रिपीट द सेकेंड लास्ट क्वेश्चन, रिप्लाई अबाउट बिल नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड इन लॉकडाउन पीरियड। So I think you are saying that invoice has not been issued during the lockdown period. I am not clear what you are saying, sir. The second last question was the time of supply for rendering of services triggered in March 20, but invoice not prepared due to lockdown. ERP system locked for March 20. Okay, that question what you are asking for. See, the time of supply जो है मेरा, वो बोलता है कि within 30 days of completion of service, if I am issuing a invoice, that the date of invoice will be my time of supply. If it is not issued within 30 days, then the date of completion of service is my time of supply. तो समझो अगर मेरा 20 मार्च को सर्विस कंप्लीट हो गई है और 20 अप्रैल तक मैं इनवॉइस इशू नहीं कर पाया, so my time of supply is 20th March and I am liable to pay GST in the month of March itself. बट अगर मार्च के बिल का मैंने इनवॉइस 19 अप्रैल तक इशू कर दिया, so 19th April will be my time of supply. I am liable to pay GST in the month of April and not in the month of March. So I hope I am clear with this. मैं इसको फुल स्क्रीन नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ अभिषेक।
सर अनडॉक करके है ना ऑप्शन, वहां से करना है, क्रॉस के बाजू वाला।
So question answered question नहीं, question अच्छा ओके। हाँ करेक्ट करेक्ट। No, please. Sir, as due date is not extended, that means interest will be levied on liability for GSTR 3B. This is the question of Sapna Lunawat. Yes, Sapna madam. Because February, March और April इन 3 महीनों में only conditional waiver of interest is there. There is no extension of due date. तो मैंने with the help of example also with the ये मैंने आपको बता दिया calculation. So I hope you are clear with this. And this PPT made available for can this PPT be made available for offline references having network? I think Abhishek will answer after the session. I will share this PPT with them. Exempted turnover to be added in total turnover. Example, salt supplies 4 crore and 2 crore commission income received from services. Hence basic turnover is 2 crore. नहीं, मेरा basic turnover सर 6 crore हो गया है। कुलजीत सिंह जी का ये क्वेश्चन है, तो 6 करोड़ हो गया है, तो आई विल फिट इनटू द टर्नओवर मोर देन 5 करोड़ का लिमिट में, एंड ओनली 15 डेज तक मुझे बिना इंटरेस्ट के रिटर्न फाइल करना है। उसके बाद 9% इंटरेस्ट वाले कैटेगरीज में आप बैठ जाओगे। कुलजीत सिंह जी because interest is also your exempt turnover. Salt, as you said, is also your exempt turnover. So अगर समझो मेरा 2 करोड़ का सॉल्ट है, 2 करोड़ का मेरा कमीशन इनकम है और 2 करोड़ का मेरा इंटरेस्ट इनकम है, तो भी मैं 5 के ऊपर बैठ जाता हूँ. Then Shrikant Vaishnav has asked, sir, I have a question. Is supplier of services opting for composition scheme? Is it compulsory for them to file ITC 03 even if there is no stock but the same ITC is lying in? Yes. वो आपको भरना पड़ेगा और आपको ITC 03 भर के जो भी ITC आपके पास ITC 03 भर के जो ITC आपके बुक्स में उसको रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा और उसको खत्म करना पड़ेगा. Next is again from Shrikant Vaishnav. Sir, is e-way bill is required for transporting vegetable fresh or chilled if the value of consignment has exceeded the turnover limit? The question, Shrikant, is not relevant or today's topic, but there is an exemption given as far as the vegetable and fruits are concerned, so it is actually not required. So please provide us the recorded video. So that Abhishek will answer recorded video मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा और कहाँ मिलेगा. Can we get soft copy? Okay. The supplies to merchant exporter at the rate of 0.1% fall under the refund under inverted duty structure as the inputs are 185%. Yes. कुलजीत सिंह जी, ये इन्वर्टेड ड्यूटी स्ट्रक्चर में बैठेगा और आप उसका रिफंड क्लेम कर सकते हो. Then Radhika ने क्वेश्चन पूछा है, the tenant supply will simply get ITC even without paying the rent. I have already answered that ICC will not be available. For ITC, you have to make the payment of service as well as GST both. So if you are, even if you are making only GST payment, not the service payment, ITC will not be available. In case of real estate, ITC due to contractor payment, outward liability, payment on sales at the rate of 12% or 5%, we can claim refund of accumulated ITC as of March 20. If it is supposed to be claimed, I'm not clear with the answer, but as far as builders are concerned, if he is into 5% or 1% scheme, then he is not allowed to take any ITC, so there is no question of refund. Ravi Chandranji, I'm not clear with your query. Then Radhika ने again पूछा है, could you please tell me GST applicable to salary to the partners? My view is that salary paid to the partners, again GST is not applicable. That is what my view is, but again department may take a contradictory view in light of the AR already I discussed. So you should tell to the client that okay, in my view it is not applicable, but litigation may be there, so you may have to fight the case. Then next is from Pratik Kothari. If the rent has been paid in June 2020 for 3 months, that is April, May and June, then what will be the impact on GST of the same? So you can take the credit in the month of June 20, no issue. आपने मार्च का भी अगर जून में पेमेंट किया है रेंट का, तो जून में आप क्रेडिट ले लो ना, इश्यू नहीं है आपको. और अगर आपको इनवॉइस पहले ही मिल गया, मार्च में मिल गया या अप्रैल में मिल गया, तो रिस्पेक्टिव मंथ यू कैन टेक द क्रेडिट once you receive the invoice. Can you, Jayesh Shakata, can you repeat the second question? Second last question already I discussed. The next question is from Shubham. What about GST inputs on rent of lockdown period? Can you please explain again? In my view, if you have you got the invoice from the owner, you made the payment to the owner, the credit of ITC will be available to you. So there is no restriction because we have received the services, in my view. The next is Nidhi Desai. We have filed for refund for 17-18 on 13th March 2020. Also mailed the document to the officer on his official email ID. Can anything be done for the processing of the same? Again, I will suggest that 13 March है, अभी हम 1.5 महीने के ऊपर हो गया, 1.5-2 महीने के पौने 2 महीना. So Nidhi, you again send a reminder to the officer, or if you have his cell number, you can call her. But you send the reminder and check on the site also why you have not received the money. The next is Shri Priya Bansal. Is there any GST on consulting services which is given by a CA to the firm other than his partnership firm? Absolutely, there is a GST on the consulting also. The next is from Om Prakash ji. He is saying third last question for goods. So again, what is the third last question? Sorry, I'll just open the question. Third last question was whether ITC can be claimed on purchase entries passed in the books of 2020. However, goods was not received. So, Prakash ji, if you go to the section 16, so 16.2 says that you should receive the goods before availing a credit. So, since you have not received the goods, the credit of the same will not be available to you. So you will take the credit maybe in the month of April, May, June, whenever you receive the good, in that month you can take the credit. The next is Anish Putnis has asked, can you please repeat the answer for rent due to COVID? First question, why GST is payable? Anish, you already have answered, but again I will repeat that the supply in the case of rent is what you are giving, you are granting a right to use the premises. That right you have given to the tenant on the day one when you already signed the agreement with him for the rent agreement. But since rent agreement, the continuous supply of service for a period more than 3 months, it will fall under the continuous supply of service contract. As far as continuous supply of service contracts are there, law says that the liability to pay tax is once you receive the money, or as per agreement when you are liable to receive the money. So agreement में generally लिखा रहता है कि भाई किस महीने की किस तारीख को आपको मंथली पेमेंट देना है या क्वार्टरली देना है. सपोज एग्रीमेंट में लिखा है कि अप्रैल का पेमेंट आपको 7 अप्रैल को देना है. Then later on, due to this unforeseen scenario, you agreed that it is not to be paid. But agreement तो आज की तारीख में भी जो आपने रजिस्टर्ड किया है with the authority, stamp duty and registration authority, उसमें लिखा हुआ है 7 तारीख को आपको देना है. So whether you received the money or not, you are liable to pay GST on the 7th of the April for the month of April. Since it is a continuous supply of service, सर्विस आपका कंटिन्यूसली दिया जा रहा है क्योंकि पोजीशन में आज भी टेनेंट के ही है वो प्रीमाइसेस, वो आपके पोजीशन में नहीं है, तो इसके लिए जीएसटी विल बी पेबल ऑन दिस. I hope you are clear, or Anish, you have my number also, so if you want we can further discuss over a phone. What is the time currently for realization of export proceed? मैंने बताया 1 साल है आपको, तो आप 1 साल में कर सकते हैं. Then Revadi Nivas is asking the rent, if there is a specific agreement that rent will not be paid for lockdown. अगर ऐसा आपके एग्रीमेंट में स्पेसिफिकली लिखा है कि लॉकडाउन के पीरियड में रेंट नहीं देना है, then you can come out and opt not to pay the GST. But generally I have not seen any agreement where you are saying that there will be a lockdown due to COVID, hence rent is not payable. अगर ऐसा कुछ है तो you can definitely take the benefit. Next question is from Bhushan Bhutra. Bhutra ji ने पूछा है 1/3 deemed deduction for land in case of builder, is that to be treated as no supply, sir? Sir, it is not a supply at all, because they are allowing you 1/3 deduction towards the value of land. So आपको जो लैंड की वैल्यू है उसके लिए वो डिडक्शन है. लैंड की जो वैल्यू है नाइदर सप्लाई ऑफ गुड नॉर सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस कवर्ड इन शेड्यूल 3 of the GST law. So your taxable value or exempt value, because schedule 3 will not is not your exempt supply. It actually not a supply at all. So that's why 2/3 value for the purpose of calculating this turnover, aggregate turnover, you have to take 2/3 value. The next question is from Pratik Shah. He is asking, can the unmatched ITC for the period of October 19 to January 20 can be availed in GSTR 3B for the month between 20? So 36(4) से related issue, Pratik ji, आप कल भी सुनने वाले हैं. You are already registered for tomorrow. So I suggest that we will discuss tomorrow, because I have not taken up this 36(4) today. So it will be better if we take tomorrow. Then again, next question is from Nidhi Desai ji. In 17-18, GSTR 1 was correctly filed. However, in 3B, certain months return were filed as nil by the consultant. मैडम पहली बात तो आई विल नॉट एग्री कि कंसल्टेंट ने नील फाइल किया. कंसल्टेंट को जो उसने एसएससी ने दिया होगा डेटा, उसने वही फाइल किया है. सो एनीवे आई एम नॉट गोइंग इनटू दैट. The liability and credit were taken in March 18. Accordingly, we have claimed refund in 18, I don't know, for inverted duty structure. उसके अलावा आपके पास और कोई रास्ता भी नहीं है मैडम, तो ठीक है. The next is export made in October 19 with payment of IGST. We can claim apply refund now. Yes, you can claim refund within 2 years, Dikshit, so you can claim now. Next question is from Jayesh Shah. Jayesh Shah is asking that Jan to March 19, 3B filed in November 19. Yes, भाई आपका एक query मेरे पास आया था. I was supposed to take tomorrow, but since so it is actually better we'll take this tomorrow, because when I'm going to cover this ITC, it will be easier. Jayesh bhai, can you please explain the GST and ITC on rent again? दीपक भाई already मैंने 2-3 बार explain कर दिया है, so I think it will be a repetition. But if you want any further clarification, we can talk over a phone later on. Sir, any representation is given to GST Council on the respective issue in refund. A lot of issue will be. ये सब अभी recent changes आए हैं रमाकांत जी. So definitely we are in the preparation of representation. Let's see. Can you repeat third last question? ओम प्रकाश जी, मैंने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले वापस से भी repeat किया था, तो I hope you are clear with that. If rent invoiced in May for March and received in June, then GST to be paid with interest for 2 months. If rent invoice रेंट का इनवॉइस आपने मई में इशू किया है फॉर द मंथ ऑफ मार्च एंड रिसीव्ड इन जून. आई एम नॉट क्लियर विद दिस निर्माण जी, इफ यू कैन अगेन पोस्ट. देन नेक्स्ट इज साहिल शेख. Before 26 January 2018, GST rate on cut and polished diamond is 3%. Later amendment made and it is made to be 2.25%. Whether SEC is eligible to apply for refund on GST paid on purchases? No, ये already मैंने cover किया है कि अभी जो नया recently इन्होंने ये issue किया है अपना circular, where they are saying that it is not an inverted duty structure. In my view, it should be covered. But the circular is there, so definitely department is not going to give you a refund. Then next question is from Aniket Jangir. He is asking purchase invoice not booked in the month of March 2020 but reflected in GST at 2A. Will that ITC can be taken provisional on 3B? Aniket, I am going to cover this in tomorrow presentation. That time we will discuss this. What if gross liability is there but net liability is nil? Whether interest at 9% is applicable? In my view, it is applicable because still they have not amended the law, which they have promised 2 times. They have discussed and approved by GST Council, but it is not applicable. So as of today, gross पे लगी जाएगा. Next is from Ruchi Agrawal. GST refund for May 18 to be applied till May 20 or extended to 20. May 18 का आप जून 20 तक कर सकते हैं, कोई इशू नहीं है. Within 2 years you can apply, so no issue. Then next question is from Daryavardi Nivas. For export of services for claiming exemption from GST, what are the conditions to be satisfied? For export of services, you have to receive the money in convertible foreign exchange and you have to take the LUT. Then you can claim refund and you can go through the entire process of refund, because I am not in detail taking what are the procedure for refund. Next question is from Harsh Bajaj. While 36.4 is deferred temporarily due to COVID, sir, we will discuss this tomorrow. I am going to cover this in detail in tomorrow 36.4. So ये उसी टाइम पे कल डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. The next question is from Ruchi Agrawal. Again, GST refund due to inverted duty structure for May 18 filed as nil earlier due to no clarification by the department. That refund will be received. Want to file again, how to do it? So today it is not covered in today's topic how to file refund claim. I just covered in refund what are the changes they have made, recent changes they have made, because I have not covered refund. So I don't think it is appropriate to cover refund query here, Ruchi. So please excuse me for that. Next is from Pooja Tulshan. We have done in export with payment of IGST in March 18, whereas we have applied for LUT in 1920. For financial year 18-19, can we claim refund? Because if you go to section 16 of IGST Act, it says that zero rated supply means you have to you can supply without payment of IGST, and LUT to be taken according to me once you want to claim a refund. If you don't want to claim refund, then LUT is not required. But since you are claiming refund, so I think it will be tough that without LUT you export it. So department will say, Pooja, you have to pay the tax under IGST and then you can claim refund of IGST since LUT is not there. So next is from Rajesh Desai. Is e-way bill is compulsory during lockdown period? Yes, because they have not given any exemption for the same. In above this question, if director as an employee and covered in PF Act, so sir, this is not the question of provident fund, and I am also not expert on provident fund. I am practicing only in GST. So sorry, unable to answer your query. Next question is again from Shrikant Vaishnav. Sir, another question: if refund of unmatched ITC is not available in the month in which the same is unmatched, then will it be possible to include? Again, it is Shrikant, I will say it is related to refund, and I am not covering this refund in great detail. This is the not topic of the refund, so I am unable to answer your question. So I think I have covered all the questions what have been received now. Recently, we have received a supply from SEZ to DTA, liable to 0.1% IGST or exempted under LUT by SEZ. From SEZ to LUT, SEZ is not liable to pay anything, but DTA unit which are buying the goods or services from SEZ has to pay the custom duty in case of goods, and also the IGST in case of goods, whatever rate applicable, not 0.1%. So I hope I have answered all your queries. So Abhishek, now what to be done?
Yes, sir. Sir, thank you so much for patiently answer all the questions, and we are very thankful to you for sir coming on our platform. बाफना जी हो है क्या सर?
या
बाफना जी आपका कैमरा चालू करिए सर. सर बाफना जी want to speak something.
ओके ओके, तो उनसे सुनना तो मेरे लिए भी गर्व की बात है. बाफना जी तो मेरे बड़े भाई के समान है. तो
साहब आपसे जीएसटी में मुझे क्या बोलना है? कैमरा किधर चलेगा यार?
Yes sir, आ गए सर.
आगे क्या?
Yes sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So, thank you, Manish Gadia. Manish Gadia is an expert in GST in filing return and refund. And most of queries, I think so, they are from all the refunds. They have already filed the return, okay, but they want some claims in the proper way and proper time. I think you can suggest to the refund that will be better for this GST session. So I request you to please consider all the refund matter of the viewers. So there will be session will be more beneficial to our viewers also. Thank you, Manoj. Thank you for the GST matters and all the very excellent session provided by the GST. Manoj. I know Manoj is very expert and very crucial in our activities and this also. Thank you again, Manoj, for this.
Yes, Vijendra ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, the tycoon of GST all over India. We are thank you on behalf of What Next team. Sir, we're looking forward in this platform in every month because
There is some issue in his audio.
I
Vijendra ji,
congratulate Abhishek. I'm audible?
Yes, yes, now audible. Please continue.
बोलिए आपका रिफंड बेटर हो तो बात करिए ना.
I congratulate Manish ji. Thank you. Manish ji, thank you so much.
Again, not audible, Vijendra ji.
Yeah. अभिषेक कहाँ गया? अभिषेक नहीं दिख रहा है नीचे.
I'm audible.
स्पीकर को इधर
Yes,
लगाना
now-
पड़ेगा. विजेंद्र, स्पीकर को यहाँ
Audible, sir. Audible.
अभिषेक कहाँ? अभिषेक.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Audible, na?
Yes, Vijendra ji, please continue.
Audible.
बोले बोले. Yeah.
Yes, I thank you, Manish Gadia, Regional Council member, and our torch bearer, future of our profession. He is always available with us because he is so soft person and knowledge का सर आपके पास काफी GST के लिए आप हम
बस मुझे लगता है रिफंड का नाम आते ही बंद हो जाता है ये.
सर ऑर्गेनाइजर विराट मुझे म्यूट कर रहा है, बार-बार लिखा हुआ आ रहा है उसमें कि यू आर म्यूटेड बाय विराट का नाम लिखा आ रहा है उसमें.
अपना जी ऐसा है, गवर्नमेंट रिफंड देती नहीं है तो रिफंड सुनते ही वो ऑटोमेटिकली बंद कर देता है कि रिफंड नहीं मांग ले मुझे.
कोई मुझे लग रहा है मैंने कहा जहाँ तक फाइल रिटर्न का है बोले जाओ, रिफंड का आया बोले उसको म्यूट कर दो.
नहीं, थैंक यू विराट भाई, थैंक यू अभिषेक, थैंक यू बाफना सर, and thank you all viewers. It's a very good platform Abhishek and Virat doing for the profession. I really congratulate and salutes to you, and always Manish sir तो हमारे लिए हमेशा अवेलेबल रहते ही हैं. सर आपकी डिमांड तो इतनी रहती है कि अगर आप दिन भर भी लेक्चर दोगे ना ऑनलाइन तो वो भी कम पड़ेगा सर, आपकी इतनी डिमांड है सर.
Thank you very much, sir, and highly obliged.
Demanded person.
Thank you so much, sir, coming on our platform.
Thank you.
एंड
Thank you to
थैंक यू
all.
सर, ये टी-शर्ट सर आगे के लिए सर टी-शर्ट हमको गिफ्ट करोगे सबको, तो हम सब एक ही ब्रांड में आपके साथ अच्छे लगेंगे।
GMJ का ठीक है, next time we will branded
So tomorrow we will start sharp at 11. All participants requested to join at 11 o'clock sharp.
Oh,
Thank you, Manish sir. We are ending webinar right away here. Thank you all.
thank you.